Hello, everybody. Here I am, and guess what I'm doing again? You guessed it. I'm having a rant. Yes, I'm having a rant at the AFL and radio again, as I've done before. But this time, I want to talk about AFL women's. And I want to talk particularly about the lack of radio broadcasting of AFL women's games. Now, from the inception of the AFL women's competition, I have been invested because I'm a Collingwood supporter and I support the women's as well as the men's teams. And for those who don't know, and those who subscribe to my channel for a while might realize, and even looking at me, you'll probably realize, I'm totally blind. So don't really enjoy the TV coverage as much as the next man. Of course, that's not to say that I don't listen to TV coverage sometimes. Sometimes I do. And with the women's competition, I have no choice. And I have no choice because after 5 years of the AFLW, the radio coverage across the competition is absolutely appalling. Sure, you can go onto AFL Women's and stream it down there, and I don't know what their commentary's like because the site isn't always accessible and I've struggled to get around. But the fact is, stations like Triple M, SEN are not covering, as far as I can tell from the official AFL Women's Broadcast Guide, any games this weekend. This is round 2 of the 2021 AFL Women's. Not a single game is being broadcast across radio. This to me shows a great disparity and a feeling in amongst media parlance, as has been pointed out over the last few weeks by several AFL women's players themselves, of the disparity of coverage between the AFL women's and AFL men's competition. Every game in AFL men's is on radio. You can find it. Sometimes it's a little difficult, sometimes with rights, restrictions and things, it can be harder, but it's there. ABC, SEN, Triple M, AFL Nation or SEN, whatever you want to call it. K-Rock for games in Geelong and sometimes some other games. AFL Women's, round 2, new season, first football for 9 months. And all we had on the radio last week was 3 games, and I'm sorry if I'm missing the Bulldogs and St Kilda game on the Friday night, Collingwood versus Carlton, the opening game of the season, and there was a third, and I'm sorry the name escapes me. But round 2, nothing, not a game, nada, nothing on the radio. So, if you don't have internet, no coverage. If you don't have Foxtel, no coverage. And nothing on radio, absolutely nothing, even though most people have the radio on more than they will the television. They have it on the background, they have it on when they're gardening, they have it on when they're in the kitchen, they have it on when they're in the bathroom, in the toilet, anywhere. Radio is on. And here we are, 5 years in to the landmark women's competition. And the coverage falls so flat that it's almost amateurish. What is going on? Why are we not getting regular coverage on radio? Don't tell me the supporter base isn't there, because it is. Supporters, both men and women, have been flocking to this. We're crying out for football, especially now, with the lack of it over the journey. Now, we had the season last year, and that was weird and crazy. Now, there are some that will say that women's football might not be as attractive as the men's. The scoring might not be as high. Of course, the scoring last year in the men's competition was, well, pretty much the same, to be honest. They say the skills aren't there. They say the viewership isn't there. Bullshit. I call bullshit on that. The games that have been covered on the radio have had a lot of listener turnout. On the ABC, hundreds of messages were flowing in during that Thursday night and Friday night coverage. Where is it? Get it on the radio, because without consistent and steady radio coverage of the women's game, it will not grow effectively. Radio is the link that you need. Get onto it. From a personal point, I can't see what's going on the television. I'm not having to go at TV commentary here, but I struggle to follow TV commentary. I need to know every single pass, every single detail to really get an idea of what's happening. And I'm not getting it. And I do feel a bit disenfranchised. I can't enjoy the women's game. I can't really get into Collingwood because I can't follow them effectively. And that's very distressing to me. I love my football. Love it. And the radio is my preferred. And they're just not doing it. Why not? Why not? Someone tell me why. Someone tell us why. After 5 years of the AFL competition, they're still not covering with any consistency on the radio. And television as well, for that matter. Unless you've got Foxtel, you're hardly getting anything. Maybe what? 1 or 2 games on 7, maybe 3. But certainly not all of them. And that's just not good enough. For all their talk of growing the women's game and it being a landmark competition for women around Australia, it is only talk until the coverage becomes more consistent, until the radio stations, Triple M, ABC, SEN, AFL Nation, start covering every single game with the same dedication as you cover the men's. When the commentators have covered the women's game, they have been brilliant. But I want to hear more of it. Give me more. Let me enjoy the game. Let me get fully immersed in the women's competition. Let me support Collingwood. Let me support the women that are going out there without professionalism now and getting smashed around for my entertainment. Let me support them. Get the women's game on the radio. Please. You're missing a golden opportunity. That's all.